Good evening, YouTube. Now you might be saying it's not evening where I am, but today I'm in the sandbox. And if you look at the sky, you can see it's as black as night. Because today I want to spend some time looking at the nighttime effects, the use of lighting in the game 1867. Now my colleague, Cyberpiper, has done some research and he found up this map. The map is actually a map of Pfaffenthal, which is a district of Luxembourg, in 1867, and it actually gives the location of every single street lamp around the town centre. All these dots are these street lamps. So we had a good indication of where to place the lamps. We just needed to build the lamps. Now, although we searched around looking on the toolbox for different gas lamps, the ones we found were just a little bit too brash. They didn't look as authentic as we wanted, and the light was a very brash, stark light. So Cyberpiper built a set of mesh lamps. You can see here is one as a mesh gas lamp. But the next problem was how to make the gas lamp look authentic. We wanted a form of lighting that wasn't static. We needed a flickering effect, and that caused a few problems trying to work out how to make the gas light flicker. Now I had a hunt round on the toolbox and looked around for different examples of flickering lights, fluorescent bulbs, lanterns, candles, different forms of light. If I go to test and then play or run, you see the lighting, it isn't gentle. We've got one lamp here is flickering too much, the other lighting is very brash, and it's not a delicate gas lamp type light, and that's not really the sort of light that we're after. So after a lot of searching around, I actually ended up finding the ideal gas lamp in one of the Roblox's tutorials. I'll go into play to show you where I found it. There's a handheld lantern in the cowboy tutorial, and when you equip the lantern and make it work, if you look at the lighting effect, you can see around the outside you get this really gentle flickering effect, and also of course there's a very gentle flame actually within the lantern itself. So that was ideal, and the thing was we had to work out how that was achieved. Now initially I thought the flickering effect would be down to making the brightness of the lamp increase and decrease randomly, but it wasn't. How they actually achieved that, how Roblox achieved that, was that they made the range of the lamp flicker and not the intensity. So the intensity was constant, but it was the range that was changing. So what I did was I built that into a script and placed that script inside one of the lamps that Cyberpiper made, and this is the end effect. You can see there that it's a much more gentle light and it's got the flickering that I wanted. You can see there actually the range is just changing from a maximum and minimum range. But it does produce a really delicate natural gas flicker rather than abrupt lighting. So that's the sort of lighting we placed around the game, and we placed these lamps at the locations marked by that map. Now one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that the lights all came on at different times. I didn't want players to be in the game and to find that at a certain time in the day, maybe 6 o'clock, every light came on at the same time. Initially I wanted the lights to come on in sequence, but because we were building the game at different points, I wasn't quite sure how to make the sequence work when we were building the game, some parts of the game at different points to other parts. I really would like the lights to come on one after the other along the lane, so it's almost as if someone's walking down the lane turning the lights on one at a time. Now I haven't actually achieved that at the moment because the game's not yet finished and we need to place a few more buildings in situ, but when the game is finished, what I do want to do is to change the times that lights come on so they come on in sequence, maybe about 3, 4 or maybe 5 minute sequence between each light coming on. So when a player is in the game, one light will come on, and then next light, and then next light, and next light, and so on in sequence. Now the gas lights, I was pleased with those. I did notice actually one problem. Now I go into one of the buildings, I'll show you what the problem is. When you place the gas lights inside the buildings, let's go in here, there's a gas light on the far wall, you can see the building is just unnaturally dark. One issue we had, be careful, I mustn't walk into the machines. If I walk the machines, I'll kill myself. There you can see the gas light on the wall at the back, but if you look around the factory, you can see that it doesn't illuminate the inside the building effectively. I'm going here actually just slightly further into the building, and it's pitch black, and I can't get rid of that darkness just by increasing the range of the light. So we had to actually work out why is it that the inside of buildings was just so dark, and realised what the problem was in the end. It was actually down to the fact the buildings are made of mesh. Now a mesh object doesn't have a physical shape. For instance, this mesh building is basically a cuboid, and so when the lights are shining inside a mesh building, the different walls of the building are not causing the shadows to form correctly. So the problem actually rectified simply by removing the ability to add shadows inside the building. So I actually placed a second building in the game, and the lights inside the second building are all set so they don't cast shadows. And you'll see what the difference is. If I go inside the second building that's placed just behind the first, you can see actually approach. The lighting is much more uniform. And here actually you can see where you're going, and then you can see the machinery inside the factory. And the way that has been made was actually to stop the light from casting shadow. If you look down at my avatar, you can see there is no shadow. So this building is ideal for vampires, because as you might well realise, vampires don't cast shadows. So that's the only problem, that when you go inside the buildings, your avatar will not cast a shadow because the mesh of all these bars and inside walls and the beams and the woodwork and the stairs was just so complex that it wasn't actually letting light pass through the building. So that's actually the sort of lighting we are now adopted, and how we overcome some of the problems with adding that light to the game. So if you get the chance, have a wander around 1867 when it's dark. Either come along normally and just wait for maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes until the evening sets in, or hopefully if you come perhaps when the game is busy and there are other people in the game, you might just by chance arrive when it's night, because actually the game does look really attractive when you get this flickering effect on the walls. I think it makes the game look really picturesque and quite authentic. So the game 1867 does certainly take on a different ambience in the night time, so it's well worth a visit. So after watching this video, have a look at the game, and if you get a chance, subscribe as well and keep on top of all the news of different videos of the updates from 1867 and how the building is progressing. Thank you very much and see you around. So just in my traditional way, I'll say bye. Oh, it's not saying bye. Try again. Bye. That's better.